Once there was a man whose parents named him Fucked. One might say that he was born shit out of luck. Morning came, he would head down yonder tavern, downing rum and mead in that dimly lit cavern. After Fucked was drunk, his gold and silver spent, he would wander outside with dastardly intent. Wasted and wobbling, he walked with a stagger. All the town's maidens were drawn to his swagger. A horse-drawn chariot sped by him with haste. 'Twas a virgin inside, and now a decision he faced. Their eyes met, and ooze seeped her chasm. Indeed, a toothsome triumph, a prolonged spasm. He wilted her flower himself and was proud, and next it was these words he said aloud. My lizard hath never felt such a burrow, and mine coitus hath never been so thorough. I should compare you to a rabid fox, mouth watering like whiskey on the rocks. A group of robbers approached the moonstruck lovers and grabbed Sarah out from under the covers. They saw there was no gold to be stolen, and they galloped away, Fucked, battered, and swollen. When he arose from his ditch of defeat, he solemnly swore vengeance. He would carve their meat. But the lady snatchers left something behind, evidence that would make them want to rewind. Why, they left an amulet of aquamarine. This Fucked knew hailed from the land of the Queen of England he would now have to seek. Now the future of those bastards was looking bleak. So he went down to the general store the next morning and apologized for the lack of forewarning. He requested a bow and longsword and a suit of armor that he could afford. After that, Fucked was on the road, armed and ready, blade in the holster, bow and arrow steady. All of his energy he prepared to exert. He trudged through forest, tundra, and desert. It was a full moon, and the howl of wolves he heard. If only he had a steadfast mount to be spurred, for horseback would make him much more noble. Alas, he was vulnerable, with no steed so noble. Mobile. Suddenly, from the bushes came a rustling, and Fucked withdrew his sword in an upswing. 3 snarling wolves erupted from the grove, his instincts alarmed, and then he up and dove. 2 of the wolves leapt at Fucked, and he ducked. They collided midair. By maws their eyes were plucked. The mangled wolves were now yelping and howling, disgruntled and blind, but one was still growling. By luck and perhaps God's will, Fucked defeated 2. The lone wolf was hungry and eager to chew, but Fucked was not about to be a wolf's feast, so he raised the rapier to kill the lupine beast. Now the shiny craftsman sword was above Fucked's head, and he thrust it down with all his might. The wolf lay dead. Then he made a coat from the wolf's silky fur, and was on the road again, prowling for liquor. By daybreak he could see in London the steeple, and he knew he was near by the sound of the people. He entered the city, heading towards the throne, but then he had this sudden urge, the queen he'd bone. Upon entrance to the magnificent castle, Fucked walked up to the queen and tugged on her tassel. I have a favor to ask, your majesty, for one of your kingdom hath done travesty. Burglars of your nation ransacked the carriage, stealing the girl for whom I intended marriage. I request you tell me whose necklace this is, because I must find Sarah, for she is not his. I could do you some sexual favors in return, for I could masterfully pleasure your sister. That afternoon the queen's bodyguards turned round, so Fucked could stealthily plunge, then pound. She mounted as he fornicated royalty. If he were English, he'd be showing loyalty. At last the vengeful man released his load. Indeed, the queen felt his fluid explode. Panting and satisfied, the queen told Fucked to seek out the town herbalist. His teeth bucked, for it was this buck-toothed man who could tell whose pendant it was, and where he might dwell. He had vials and beakers, and leaflets and tangles, roots and stems, branches with bangles. His laboratory boasted bells and whistles, overflowing with spices, linens and thistles. Is there anything more that he could ask for? His own laboratory with a stained glass door? He concocted potions and medicinals, his virtues and values anything but traditional. Fucked walked right into the herbalist's lair, and showed the necklace so he was aware of the whereabouts of the vile perpetrators, ergo he could be their terminators. The herbalist revealed that they were tribal, and they would be in the foothills of Mibel. So off Fucked sped to the Mibel terrain, the things he do to the thieves inhumane. After chugging his flask, he came to a campsite, and with liquid courage he was very forthright. Let the 3 villains who took my Samantha, or was it Sarah, arise and let's battle out on the savannah. The 3 damned culprits came out of the shade, and with that Fucked whipped out a grenade. The herbalist offered him the grenade. It was perfect for throwing, filled with gunpowder and with a timed fuse. The herbalist's grenade landed right by their shoes. It exploded and limbs were sent flying. Music to Fucked's ears was the sound of them dying. They screamed, asking to be put out of misery, but he denied them, wanting for them more injury. He found his Samantha laying there bound, untied her, and doggy-styled like a hound. The herbalist and queen were excellent aids, and now fucked would be jolly for decades.